Hello everyone! In this video, I will discuss to you Othello by William Shakespeare. Othello is a tragedy written by William Shakespeare, probably in 1603, set in the contemporary Ottoman-Venetian War fought for the control of the island of Cyprus, a possession of the Venetian Republic since 1489. The play is set in motion when Othello, a heroic black general in the service of Venice, appoints Cassio and not Iago as his chief lieutenant. Jealous of Othello's success and envious of Cassio, Iago plots Othello's downfall by falsely implicating Othello's wife, Demona, and Cassio in a love affair. To start our discussion, let's start answering the following discussion questions. Why does Iago hate Othello so much? The first reason for Iago's rage at Othello lies behind his career dismay. Iago is confident about his professional skills, so he believes that he is the best candidate for the lieutenant position. However, Othello appoints Michael Cassio, a less qualified person, according to Iago's opinion. Second, what does the handkerchief symbolize in Othello? The handkerchief initially is a gift given to Desdemona by Othello as a love token. It is subsequently symbolically transformed into Desdemona's bed sheets, which she uses to reveal her true innocence and fidelity to Othello. And finally, Desdemona requests that the bed sheets be used to cover her as a death shroud. Third, what does Moor mean in Othello? Othello is referred to as the Moor because of his dark skin color. The term was initially used to describe people from the ancient Roman province, which is now North Africa. But over the time, the word Moor became an ambiguous term used to describe anyone who had dark skin. Fourth, how does race affect Othello? The color of Othello's skin is obviously a crucial factor in his downfall, because his visibly alien racial identity makes him and his bride far more vulnerable to the machinations of Iago than if he were an equally accomplished and indispensable white man. Fifth, how does Shakespeare present the world of Venice in the first act, and how does he construct the interactions of his central characters, Iago, Othello, and Desdemona, with that Venetian world and with each other? How are these interactions complicated by the fact that Othello is a Moor and that Desdemona is a young woman? In the first act, Venice is presented as being a place of love and a place of hate, which fits in with the plot of the play. This is how Shakespeare constructs the interactions of the three main characters. He uses the setting to represent them and show how they change. How they interact gets complicated because Othello is a black man, so people interact with him differently to how they interact with Iago. During the time period, women were treated differently and seen as less important than men. This means that other characters interact with Desdemona differently to the male characters. Sixth, at the beginning of 3.3, Othello is completely in love with Desdemona. By the end of that scene, 480 lines later, Othello is ready to murder her for having an affair with Cassio. How have we gone from the first position to the second position so quickly? How does Iago plant the idea of Desdemona's infidelity in Othello's mind, and how does he make it grow? Iago makes Othello believe that this Demona is unfaithful to him and that she is cheating on him with Cassio. In order to plant the idea of her cheating on him, he tells that he should watch them more carefully when they met. Except Othello doesn't fully believe him, since he has no proof. So, Iago starts to tell him about how Cassio talking in his sleep. Iago tells Othello how this Demona leans in to kiss Cassio and how she puts her legs on his thigh, which makes Othello think that they did sleep together. Iago creates an image in Othello's mind that only infuriates him and makes him think that this Demona is disloyal towards him, which causes Othello to no longer have respect for her. However, Iago uses reverse psychology and flattery on Othello. By taking back his assumptions and questioning his accusations, Othello falls deeper into his trap. He uses flattery to assure Othello that he is an honest man that Othello respects. Iago uses Othello's fatal flaw, jealousy, to trigger Othello's anger and hatred towards Cassio and Desdemona, but also acts like an innocent man to manipulate Othello to get what he wants. 7th, what sort of person is Cassio? What happens to him? And how does Iago plan to use the situation in his plan against Othello? Cassio is the type of man that thinks reputation is important. He is also innocent and friendly, as well as his intentions, which makes Iago's first attempt to ruin him a failure. However, Iago successfully ruins Cassio because of his drinking problem. 8. What more do we learn about the nature of Iago in Act 2? What is the effect of having him share his thoughts and plans with us through his soliloquies? We learn that he isn't a good man. He seeks revenge towards Othello because he assumes that Othello slept with Emilia. Iago is also furious with Cassio because Othello promotes him to lieutenant and not himself. We can also tell that he is the type of character who will manipulate the future events in order to get his way. The end to Iago's first revelation of his plan lets the audience know that he is no saint. Iago will ruin Othello's peace and quiet until he is even to madness. He also reveals to us that a mischievous person is never revealed till used, informing us that soon his peers may be introduced to his true self. Iago's choice in language contributes to Shakespeare's image of him because Iago has a way of manipulating words and twisting them. Iago's character or personality is, in fact, a manipulative, lying individual. Therefore, tying both his language and personality is what makes Iago what Shakespeare wanted him to be, a very good liar. 9th, what is the nature of the relationship between Emilia and Desdemona? What especially is the effect of 4.3 in which we get an extended scene between these two women alone? How effective is Shakespeare in portraying this private world of women and men? Think of when Iago insults women to get Cassio to come to the defense of Desdemona. The relationship between them is very much like one of two friends rather than between an assistant and her mistress. They have almost a womanly connection and can confide and trust in each other. In 4.3, we learn that Emilia and Desdemona really tell each other their feelings and can truly trust each other. When they are alone talking, Emilia admits to Desdemona that she would, in fact, cheat on Iago at this point in the play. 10th, does Othello justify his killing of Desdemona? Othello tries to justify his act by telling Emilia that Desdemona tuned to folly and she was a hoe. In Othello's last long speech, He is asking for forgiveness because he dies when he realizes he has made the mistake of killing his true love. 11th, how is Othello still relevant today? The universal themes of betrayal, racism, and jealousy show that the tragedy Othello explored the issues that are still seen in modern society. Betrayal, which is a leading theme in the play, is relevant to today's audiences. Othello is often considered as a tragedy of betrayed trust. And that's it. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to clarify through commenting on the comment section, or you can message me privately. Thank you so much.